Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Jesse, you're watching JL's Comics. Thanks for pressing play on this video. Today we're talking about Joker, 2019 DC Comics Warner Brothers film starring Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, and of course Joaquin Phoenix in the title role. I went to a screening for this that was very secure. There was town police, there was security for the event. They were wanding people, badging people, checking bags. You had to get these wristbands as well. It was very secure. I know this movie's been in the news quite a bit lately. It has come with its own share of controversy, some of it surrounding what happened back in 2012 in Colorado, a very unfortunate event. But I have to say, they made all of these concessions for us and made it feel very safe, and hopefully your theater will do so as well. So I want to talk about this movie and kind of what it meant in terms of the film itself and the genre as a whole. This movie is not your traditional superhero comic book adaptation film. No, it's not anything having to do with big explosions. It's not this big meta plot going through 20 plus films. It is very much a character study in the Joker. His issues, his mental health issues, his descent into madness, and his rise into becoming the Joker, his full evolution into that. It's a proto story. It's not about the Joker. This movie is very much about becoming the Joker. It is gritty, it is raw, it is hyper realistic, and it doesn't have any of the sci-fi elements that some of the other comic book films might. This film is very much inspired by The Killing Joke, as well as two Martin Scorsese films from the mid-70s, early 80s, which were The King of Comedy and Taxi Driver, which both happened to star Robert De Niro as well, who happens to also be in this film as a talk show host. Well, this movie starts off with us learning about Arthur Fleck, his mental health issues. His story evolves through that as well. You get to sympathize with him a bit. But make no mistake about this, this is very much a villain movie. He descends into this, he makes these choices that you can agree with. There's going to be a point in this movie when you can no longer support what he's doing. For everybody, that's going to be a different point in the movie. I will also say that the narrator for the movie is somewhat unreliable. There's some questions about, did that happen in his mind or did that actually happen? And so they do touch on his psychological issues, his history with that, but it's kind of only surface things. So it's very literal what's going on with him. In comic books and history, there's so much symbolism to the Joker that this didn't kind of dive that deeply into that aspect of his character. This talked about who he is on a literal level. Because it was so much of a character study and focused specifically on Joker, it did feel a little bit slow at times. This movie did clock in at 2 hours and 1 minute. That 1 minute over 2 hours is important. And it feels 2 hours and 1 minute long. But all of that being said, what Joaquin Phoenix did with this character is phenomenal. I cannot believe he was able to so fully envelop himself in this role, especially after picking up from his great friend Heath Ledger, who passed. He had the character before Jared Leto. He did a phenomenal job, and I really strongly believe he will be an Oscar contender this season for this character. But of course, there's going to be elements about this, some of the violence, some of the aspects of the film will be very divisive. You will see that in different reviews, different news articles. Some people will like this immensely, as I did. Some will be turned away from it. It is very uncomfortable at times, but that's just, that's deliberate. That's the nature of this character. It's very heavy. There's a tone to it that's dark, and it will leave you with a weight when you leave the theater. You'll be thinking about this for quite a while. And the other aspect that we need to talk about in this film is the cinematography. Like I said, this takes place in the 70s. It's hyper realistic. It looks like New York City. It's a New York City analog, of course. It's Gotham City, and it is it's fantastic the way they do it. And I really like that element of it too. It felt really grounded. The heavy weight of his character was much more grounded with a realistic background. Now I will say, because we were so much focused on Joker, his story does impact the city. When these consequences come about, it doesn't feel as well consequential as it could without a little bit more development on a wider scale though. So there were a couple elements of this movie that I would have changed, but overall it was phenomenal. I have to say I quite enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and feedback as well. So once you see this, definitely come back here, leave your comments down below, your grade. Let's keep it spoiler free. And of course I have to give it a score. I'm giving this a 9.2 out of 10. This was fantastic. It did have a couple points that I would have liked to have seen different. However, overall, it was phenomenal. And like I said, this is an Oscar contender, 100% for Joaquin Phoenix. And that's it for this video, my friends. This is Jesse with JLS Comics. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. We upload videos just like this every single week. So you want to be part of this, not miss any of those videos or any of ours, new and old. Anyways, that's it. This has been a review of Joker. I'll see you soon.